The 49ers send the Eagles home, and Fred Warner's practice window has been opened somehow. And we have another game, round 3 against the Seattle Seahawks. Steph Sanchez and I will break all that down and more right after this. I'm Jason Aponte. That's Steph Sanchez. This is the Bully Ball Podcast on the Gold Standard Podcast Network, the only 49ers podcast that has not been affected by electrical substations. Steph, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm not injured. You're right. The electrical substations have not impacted us yet, but hey, you never know. We got to knock on some wood there.
I'm not even going to address this. All right, let's get into it. The San Francisco 49ers today, Kyle Shanahan spoke. There was no practice today. It was one of those, if we had a practice today, practice. I don't even know what that means. Some good news. Ricky Pearsall would have been limited today. But the big news, Fred Warner has his practice window opened. Now, he won't play on Saturday. We'll talk about why. Saturday, that sucks, man. But it means if the 49ers survive in advance, 54 will lead them out of the tunnel. And we have to get the 49ers social media team to make some sort of video close to when Quan Alexander was coming back, because that video was awesome. But Steph, how in the hell is this possible? And what is it, deer antler spray? Like, what is it? How did Fred Warner do this?
It's Fred Warner. I mean, anytime you see him on the field, you're always like, how did he do that, right? I mean, he's just like not human. So it's no surprise to me that, he attacked this rehab as aggressively as he did. There was the talk of him using the, what is it? The like hydro something hyperbolic.
It was the same thing that Matthew Stafford was in. It's the immortal chamber, something like that.
Immortal chamber is crazy. But they have all these different medical technologies that get these guys back up on the field. Fred Warner, of course, using all of that to his advantage. And yeah, I mean, he was talking about it on a podcast, yesterday, talking about how he's back to doing football drills. If it were up to him, he'd be out there already, but he's got these markers. He's kind of got to check. So it's not going to happen this week, but just the fact that his practice window is open, I think is huge. Just coming off a game where you lose George Kittle for the rest of this run and, part of next year as well, like that's a huge blow. And so for a couple of days later, you're getting this type of news. I think it's just exactly what the doctor ordered. It's exactly what could help this 49ers team, really just refocus. Not that they weren't focused, but, it's just give you that little extra boost. He had some players talking about how excited they were to see him back on the field and just how much energy that brought, right? So I love the timing of this. And if the 49ers win this game on Saturday, it's up, man. Like to have Fred Warner back in the following game would be absolutely huge.
Now the problem is how do you take Garrett Wallow off the field for Fred Warner? Look, I don't suspect that he's going to play this week. I think the emotional boost itself is there, right? And I think that's what is really important. I think considering everything that's happened, obviously we're going to talk about it. The 49ers win a game and they lose George Kittle. So for whatever reason, every single time the San Francisco 49ers win a game, they have to sacrifice somebody. That little boost can be a lot. And this game that they're going to have to go through against Seattle is going to be the toughest test. I never thought the Eagles were that tough of a test, though. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in a little bit real quick because I have thoughts about that Eagles game. But it is good to see him be there, the emotional leader, the guy that everybody rallies around. This team is resilient, and to see Fred even in this capacity just screams how resilient this team is and how much they are just continuing to fight, which is what we love about this team right now and the way that they've done it. But Steph, we'd be remiss in our duties if we didn't recap what happened on Saturday. Was it Saturday or was it Sunday? Sunday, 4:30 Eastern. The San Francisco 49ers got some people fired. apparently.
Again.
Again, scapegoated, I would say. I think a few things are true about the Eagles. I think that their play caller is subpar. I don't think too much of their quarterback. I don't think too much of their offense. I don't think too much of their head coach. I think very little of Big Dom. Let's just make sure we say all of those things. But yes, I hate to tell everyone I told you so, but I told you so. The Philadelphia Eagles offense is caca, is doo-doo, is boo-boo. And that's what you saw on Sunday. Now, a little bit of it is the San Francisco 49ers defense, because I want to give them credit as well, too. I think they played great. And their offense stinks. And it has all season. And that was my contention all week. This idea that the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been horrible, middle of the pack is the best way that I can put it. That's the nicest thing I could say about this offense, was somehow going to figure it out. They were just magically going to flip a switch when we've got 17 weeks of data, because I don't count week 18. Tanner McKee was there. 17 weeks of data of them being really, really poor on offense. For God's sakes, Jalen Hurts threw for 0 yards in 2 second halves. And all of a sudden, this was going to be the week that they figured it out. No, that was never going to happen. And I'm really, really sad that a lot of people just didn't see the data, because I wasn't coming up with anything other than I've watched them play. I was trying to figure out why Saquon Barkley wasn't the league winner that he was supposed to be for me in fantasy football. So I watched and watched and watched, and I tried to figure out what the hell was going on. And it was evident. Play calling bad. Quarterback can't throw. A.J. Brown's not going to be there. Can't catch either. Everything's hitches and curls. All of those things are true. And it happened again. And that's what I was betting on. I wasn't wishing on a star. I wasn't wishing for a miracle. I was just using data and film. And it all reared its ugly head again. And the 49ers took advantage and won, Steph.
I was cracking up at the comment here from Frank that said Big Dom had more catches in the second half than A.J. Brown, and that is absolutely true, because he caught a stray on the sideline. But yeah, I mean, this Eagles offense was awful, and they had a bunch of penalties as well that hurt them, I think, on both sides of the ball. And the 49ers ultimately were able to capitalize on those mistakes. You know it's bad when Brock Purdy throws 2 interceptions, and yet the Eagles can't get any points out of those. 0. None. There was also, bad field position with some bad punts due to the wind. Just all these things. I feel like
Thomas
Eagles...
Morstead's a bad punter, too, also. I'm sorry. We have to... Yeah, he's a bad punter. That's why Brock doesn't want him punting.
He's all right, though. He's bad.
He's bad. He's bad.
Good.
He's bad, Steph. Keep going.
Okay. All right. I'm not here to talk about punters. Respectfully.
He's bad. He's bad. That's why Brock was trying to stop him from punting. He's bad. Keep going.
He's trying to keep him from punting. Fair. But yeah, I mean, this Eagles offense, I wouldn't say I was scared of the Eagles. I was cautious that the 49ers defense, in particular the linebacking situation, given that it was going to be a different group of starters this week, that maybe that would be enough for things to derail. And early in the game, even, you see Saquon go for a couple of big runs, and you think, I thought to myself, okay, it's going to be one of those long days. Hopefully the offense could score some points, which they did in that opening drive. Beautiful drive, by the way. One of Kyle's better ones. But yeah, I think that, ultimately they put the clamps on him, especially in the second half in terms of the run defense. A lot of different guys stepped up. Unsung heroes, I would say, just guys you wouldn't really have expected to step up in this game. Credit to Demarcus Robinson going over 100 yards, having that, big catch in the first drive. Eric Kendricks, Garrett Wallow, who we just found out who he was not too long ago. And, he's out there. And from one week to the next, I thought he looked a lot better. Upton Stout continues to get better each and every week. Keon White with that like shoelace tackle and Jalen Hurts.
Marcus Siegel.
Siegel, yes. I mean, so many guys, just stepped up, and it's those little contributions that end up being big in the big picture of a game like this, right? And they're going to need more performances like this if they're going to, beat Seattle on Saturday. But Jay, I was also thinking to myself that, in the event, because after George Kittle went down, I was thinking, hey, like anything could happen at this point, right? Like it didn't feel great to see that. And
of course,
it didn't have a lot of confidence in it going forward. But I think I was starting to think that if the 49ers lost that game, I would still be super, super proud of them and just what they've done this season. And we've been saying that we just think that anything beyond the regular season was just a bonus. I hope, a lot of you feel that way as well, because I think this is a special team. It's been a special season where, they've showed a lot of resiliency and they showed a lot of fight. And it's just been a pleasure to watch, quite honestly. And yeah, it's not the type of season that we wish to have at the start of it, when you wish your team's going to be like dominant, beating everyone. But it's a different type of pleasure watching this team, I think. So, I think that win showcased that, especially coming off a loss, that loss against Seattle just the week prior, for them to go in underdogs, and they're going into this game against Seattle on Saturday as underdogs as well. I think this is a team of, guys with their back against the wall, and they're going to fight. Even in the losses this season, Jay, like they fought all the way through.
House money, man. At this point, you want to make them 7-point underdogs against Seattle? Good. That's how we like it. You want to give them the least amount of Super Bowl odds? Good. That's how we like it. Keep it that way. And I think no matter what Kyle Shanahan says, because he's been asked about, having the lowest odds and what he thinks of it. And, he's like, I don't really look at the spread. No, he sees it. He knows. Remember against the Rams, he told Mac Jones, he's like, can you believe the spread has just gone to 10.5 or whatever? So don't lie, Kyle. Don't lie. Yeah, don't lie. And that's good. I'm glad you know. A little bit more to what you were talking about. It's one thing to game plan the entire week knowing that you weren't going to have Ricky Pearsall in this game. It's a whole other thing to know that you were going to funnel so much of your offense through George Kittle, and then George Kittle leaves the game, and that play sheet gets even smaller because you have crafted enough for Demarcus Robinson to have a game that the game of his life. And what's funny too is Quinyon Mitchell has the 2 interceptions. Brock Purdy, you can't do that. Brock, I know you're watching. You can't do that. Stop doing that. I want you to stop doing that. Don't test him, especially stop throwing the ball to Jake Tonjes when Quinyon Mitchell is on him, right? Like, that's not the matchup that you're trying to target. But Quinyon Mitchell got beat on that first long pass with Demarcus Robinson, and then he got beat for the touchdown. So it's not like Quinyon Mitchell was like this, you don't throw the football at him. Like, the 49ers had their opportunities. It's just when Brock took his opportunities against Quinyon, it didn't work, and that's why he was named All-Pro. But think about what it is to be a play caller and understand that you knew that this game was going to rely on Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and then that goes away. And now it's Christian McCaffrey, it's Demarcus Robinson, it's one catch for Jawan Jennings, but a touchdown pass by Jawan Jennings. By the way, Jawan Jennings has as many touchdown passes in the postseason as Justin Herbert. By the way, Jim Harbaugh, I don't want to hear any more talk about you being better than Kyle, because my coach would never get bounced 2 times in a row in the first round. So I want you nostalgic Jim Harbaugh people about Kyle. Stop it. He's gone. He's the Chargers coach. Stop it. He's not better than Kyle. I want that one out the window as well. But it took an all hands on deck. It took every single play that you had in the bag, right? And I think when I'm talking about that Jawan Jennings play, I thought it was really cool for them to say that Kubiak was the one who brought it up, and Shanahan said, you know what? That's pretty cool. Let's roll with it. So for all the control freak people that are like, oh, it's all Kyle's show, he has input from his guys. Mm-hmm. And I think it goes to your point, Steph. Not only is the culture this strong, Everybody's bought in the entire way. This is an entire coaching group effort. Not only the players, everyone. They're all collaborating. And no matter how this season ends, no matter where it goes, this team, this culture, this is something that is long standing. And people are bought in. And every single person that gets an opportunity knows, right? Marcus Siegel's thrown into the fire, which is a shame because Jair Brown was hooping right before he got injured. Of course, playing one of the best games that he's ever played. I wasn't shocked at that because he's from Trenton, which is a stone's throw from Philly, right? I'm sure he had a lot of people in the stands there for that game, his family, things like that. He was hooping. He leaves the game and Marcus Siegel steps in. He hasn't played in how long? He looks just like a veteran. And I really just like everybody that steps up, right? And if you heard Kyle at the end of the game speak, he said, "Where's George? We love you." And then he mentions, hey, we're starting linebackers that weren't here 3 weeks ago. And I think that's something that they all understand. I don't think any of them are taking it for granted. I don't think any of them are assuming anything. But what they are doing is they're working their asses off together. And that's what makes this team so fun. That's what makes this season so fun. Because no matter what happens, no matter who's on the field, you're going to keep doubting. They're going to keep fighting. And you're going to keep being surprised with the way that the 49ers keep playing and they keep making you look dumb. So I love it. Make them the 5% chance to win the Super Bowl. Cool. 7.5 points in Seattle. Cool. Good. I love it. Great. Keep doing it because they notice it and they're using it and they're using it to make you look dumb. So continue. Keep going. Do more. Make it 10.5 if you're that brave. It's like I was telling everybody last week. If you're so confident in the Eagles, put your rent money up. You wouldn't do it, right? You shouldn't have done it. But that's not how this works. You got to line up and play the game. So I'll take my chances again on a short week. On Saturday night, in front of the world. I'll line up with this team and I'll take my chances and feel very good about it no matter who the opponent is, no matter what the spread is, no matter what you think is going to happen. And I think they feel the same exact way, Steph.
Jay, they're already talking crazy, like these Seahawks fans.
Good.
As if it was just a 10-point win. Like I know it felt worse, but it was just 10 point. Like 49ers defense held Seattle to 13 points. Like, can we talk about that? I get the 3 points. The 49ers are not scoring 3 points again. That was the first time that's happened under Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. It's not happening again. You are going to see some adjustments. And that's even without George Kittle. You're going to see some adjustments. And great stat here from Joel. Purdy's never lost in Seattle. Niners haven't lost in the divisional round since 2012. Not that all those things automatically mean that the 49ers are going to win this one, but I just feel like things are shaping up to things being different this time around. Like it really truly feels that way. And I don't know if it's just because this team has surprised me so many times and I'm just like, okay, what's another? Like I'm just fully expecting this team to come out as a different team than the one that we saw in week 18. That week 18 game sort of like felt like a fluke in my mind.
You know what's funny too? Back to the Eagles game. You know what's funny? Eagles fans were scared. They weren't popping it.
They weren't talking?
Not at
For
all.
Once
They were
in their
scared.
life?
They were scared to death. They didn't want to play this game. They were just drunk idiots like how they are. And being overly confident and just doing what they do, being covertly racist. They weren't popping it. They were afraid of what I was telling everyone all week about their offense because they've watched them for as long as I've watched them.
You're right. No, you're right. They weren't surprised at all watching.
They weren't.
That offense step on.
They were not. Did anybody see the video of the young man who's the Eagles fan who his Christmas present was to go to the game and he said that he wanted Kevin Patullo working at McDonald's flipping burgers because one side is cooked and the other side is raw and it's just like his play calling. I was like, man, if that kid is saying that, Look at all right, you know what, Rob? If you have the audio, play it, please.
Yes, this was a huge letdown. This was my Christmas present, and I got a loss.
Oh no, you probably would have rather had Cole, huh?
Yeah, probably. I'm feeling two of two things. A, I want AJ Brown packing his bags, and I want him somewhere else that is not here. I love you, AJ, but like you can't make those drops in that game. And I also want Kevin Patullo flipping burgers at like the local McDonald's or something. I don't care.
Why do you say that?
Whenever he's an offensive coordinator, it's like he's flipping burgers. One side he's cooking, one half he's cooking, and the other half is completely raw. Yes, this was a huge letdown. This was my Christmas present.
Get that kid a podcast. Get that kid a podcast, Mike.
Why did he cook him so hard?
Because that was perfect. And if a
Go
kid
ahead.
is saying that, imagine them, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie. I make jokes about Jalen Hurts being a DoorDasher cosplaying as a quarterback. I make jokes about Nick Sirianni put the fries in the bag. I make all those jokes, but that's what they believed. And that's what I mean is during the game, it was so quiet in that stadium. And that first touchdown, it really sent like a shockwave through the stadium of just like, oh no. And that set the tone, right?
Yeah.
Even when things got tense after the 2 interceptions, it never felt like that crowd was in it. It never felt like that crowd was confident. And they all were feeling it all week. They were all afraid of this game, and they all were worried about. But I will say this. Kevin Patullo isn't a good play caller. But we are not going to let A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley drop the pass. We're not letting them skate either. So, play callers don't drop passes. Play callers don't miss reads. Because even on some of the plays that we were watching on all 22, there's 2 times in which the 49ers are not covering outside slants, and the DoorDasher is just leaving the pocket that's clean and throws the ball away. So I don't want this to be, oh, the Eagles lost because of Kevin Patullo. I want you to remember what last year was about and whose ring that is. That is Kellen Moore's ring and Saquon Barkley's ring. I don't care who won the Super Bowl MVP. There is not a day on this earth that you are going to convince me that Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback, top 15 quarterback at times. There are plenty of quarterbacks that I would take over him. Play caller be damned. The play calls at times were fine. He is just not that guy. And you're asking him to do things he's not good at. Hey, Jalen Hurts, we want you to sit in the pocket and throw the football. He's not good at that. Why are you not letting him run the football? Why are you not making him move the pocket? Why would you make him try to be something he's not? I don't know, Steph. I'm just not a big fan of his. And I'm tired of that Super Bowl MVP being thrown in my face. I don't care what you did last year. I know that was not who you are. That will end up being a blip on the radar of a career in which you're probably never going to get back there ever again or play that well again in your life. So I don't want this to all be Kevin Patullo. It's all hitches, curls, and on that last play, it was 4 verticals. That is like when you ask Madden for a play, and he's just like 4 verticals, and you need like 10 yards. 4 verticals, everybody just run straight down. I am not absolving this Eagles offense. The scapegoating of Kevin Patullo will not mask the fact that this offense altogether, every single part of it, the offensive line, the running back, the wide receivers, the quarterback, all absolutely were to blame for this one. And I just don't want people to blame just Kevin Patullo. He's going to be the one that's going to take the brunt of it. I don't want it to just be that, because then that means you're just ignoring all of the other data from all year and how bad this offense was.
Jay, I don't care whose fault it was. I'm just happy the 49ers won. And
I'm just trying to lap up the Eagles. Can we make fun of the Eagles and slander them? That's it. I mean, look, man, Steph, I know you want objective analysis. I'm here to pop my shit. I'm here to pop my shit. It's Tuesday. We're still smoking that Eagles pack. Are you crazy? You think I'm getting up off them? Are you crazy? Did you see them? Some of their podcasters was on there talking about, we want the 49ers. You want the 49ers? The 49ers want you. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? We wanted you. I was cool with it. Oh, we got the Eagles? I'm straight. Not worried. Sorry, Steph.
Oh man. But okay, here's what I want to say. Yes, the Eagles have a lot of issues. Yes, we do also want to give the 49ers defense credit for what they were able to do. But when you look at this game coming up and you look at the week 18 game, can you, like, how much of this game against the Eagles can you really take to say things have changed suddenly for the 49ers and we're so back?
The offense?
No, I'm talking about the defense in particular. The offense, I'm not as worried about this second go. But yeah, more so the defense.
Look, early on in this game, and you were talking about it, that first Saquon Barkley run, Diamador Lenore, you figured it out later in the game. But for God's sake, set the damn edge. For God's sake. My God, man. I'm not a defensive coordinator. I played 3 weeks of football in summer camp. There's two things that I remember. One, as a cornerback, if you're the last man on the outside, you have to play outside to send him back inside, even if you're getting blocked. And two, as a punt returner, put your damn feet on the 10 and stop fielding punts into the 5. Sky Moore, we can talk about that another day, but stop doing that shit. I thought we got over it. But it just, early on, it just was like, oh my God, like what, like, this isn't bad run defense. It's just poor technique. You're out of position now at this point. And then when the offense reverts to run up the middle, CJ West was a monster in this game. CJ West is hooping right now.
Yeah.
And he's really playing well. And then Wallow and Kendricks, and they didn't miss tackles in this game. Everything kind of lined up the same way. It was bad offense. It was better defense. Both things can be true. And they both contributed to this. Now, what the 49ers can take from this to go into Seattle is this. Sam Darnold still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass against them yet this season, right? He hasn't thrown an interception yet. He's due for one of them in this game. He does have a fumble. He does have a fumble, that end of the game. Yeah, so there's that. That's a turnover. He's due for one of those things. But just, I think getting back to basics and fundamentals and having guys that are going to play their gaps correctly, that means so much. And I hate to sound like one of those guys, do your job, but do your job. Just be in your right spot. And if you get beat, you get beat because that's a talent issue or that's just somebody making a play. But you gotta be able to be in position. And to Lenore's credit, he fixed it. Because there was the same exact type of play, and he fixed it. So he understood that. And then Siegel's open field tackle. Everything, it's tackling. You can't, I think if I'm not mistaken, in that Week 18 game, there was 18 missed tackles. Mm-hmm. You're not going to beat anybody playing like that. So if you're able to get there, be in position, finish the job, things are a lot different. You can't give up 19 yards on 3rd and 17 on a run. Okay? We're gonna make sure we knock that off as well too in this game. So there is so much, man. Like, there is so much that is there on tape that they should feel good about. And there is so much right there that they should feel good about in terms of we're starting to figure it out and we're playing within ourselves. And now it's going to come down to, in this Seattle game, can we get the turnover? Can we get off the field on 3rd down? And that's the thing, right? The 49ers won this game against the Philadelphia Eagles, losing the turnover battle 2-0. If you would have told me that that's how it was going to be before the game, I would have said, yeah, the Niners get bounced. Mm-hmm. But if you win the turnover battle in this one, then you feel far, far better about this. And you can't count on Jason Myers to miss kicks. So the defense does have to tighten up a lot in this game. But I do think they learned a lot offensively, based on what they're going to be able to do and how hard it is going to be able to move the football against the Seattle defense that is very fast, triggers downfield fast, and for all intents and purposes, doesn't have anyone to fear downfield. Let's see if Ricky Pearsall plays in this game, man. But the Eagles' defense is not Seattle's defense. Right. If as much as they want to puff out their chest and say that they are, they're not, and they never will be. So that's the part I hope that they really learn from is, offensively, you're going to have to scratch and claw for yards, but you have to be able to sustain drives, and you can't be 3-and-out, 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 3-and-out while getting your ass whipped on defense.
That's actually what I think hurt him the most in that game. And I don't know if you remember me after that game saying, I don't think the defense played as bad as people thought, because if you looked back, they had stops. They did have stops, and it was just that the offense couldn't capitalize them. So it was kind of like it never happened, right?
Right.
But as long as the defense could get those same stops and tackle better, that'll probably equate to more stops, honestly, more, punts, more holding them to field goals. And as long as the offense could score more than 3 points, like, I don't know. I feel better about this one. To your point, I think Kyle Shanahan has a better idea of how to attack this defense. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because I do think Seattle's defense is up there with what the Texans are putting together in these playoffs right now.
Speaking of getting people fired.
Yeah, speak on it, because
look, before we get into all that, I almost forgot. It's still time for you to make your picks on Sleeper. Okay? The NFL season is almost done, which means you still have a chance to win 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick stats like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you can win big. And for a limited time only, new users will get a free $20 entry. And don't forget, if you use our promo code GSP, you will get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Yeah, Houston and Seattle, they're close. Mike Tomlin stepped down today. That's saving face.
Right.
Yeah, come on.
We respect you too much to fire you. But
step down.
We were going to fire you.
No, it's like that scene in something. Have you ever seen There's Something About Mary?
No.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
I know.
Okay. So there's a scene where he gets in the car with the stranger, and he's telling him his business approach, and he's telling him, hey, this is what I think fine. And he's like, step into my office. And he's like, why? He's like, because you're fucking fired. Sorry. So that's like pretty much what it was with Tomlin. So, what's funny is, we talked all season about Tomlin and Harbaugh needing to go because they've been living off Barack Obama's Super Bowls. And both of them are gone. And it had to happen. It has to happen. But that's how good Seattle's defense is. To get it back to the 49ers, that's how good Seattle's defense is, right? The problem is that if the 49ers defense can keep it close enough, and they have to be able to sustain drives, you cannot keep sending themselves back out there on defense, especially if you're giving it up in the run. And Rob, with the comment, Trent will be a difference maker in this game. That'll definitely help with the protection. By the way, in that Seattle game, the 49ers ran 0 outside zone runs. That's not how they're going to get it done. I still don't suspect that the San Francisco 49ers are going to be able to run the football on Saturday night. So how much of this game is going to be throws to Christian McCaffrey, finding ways to use that extension of the run game with passes? You know what's funny?
Don't forget Kyle Juszczyk, pal.
Taking the words out of my mouth. Everyone gives Kyle Juszczyk a ton of shit.
Rob.
His two best football games as a San Francisco 49er have come this season against the Chicago Bears and this past week. Being able to move the football with underneath throws, and almost as somebody who's forgotten, when you're catching passes and it's 1st and 10 and you catch a pass and you get 6 and you keep the offense on schedule 2nd and 4. That may not look like anything, but that keeps the offense on schedule. And Kyle Juszczyk, the 49ers don't win this game without Kyle Juszczyk. I want to make sure we say that. That is the best football game that Kyle Juszczyk has ever played as a San Francisco 49er, and he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, for God's sakes. So, this is, again, everybody involved, everybody being committed. Kyle Juszczyk, man, they don't win this game without him, man. And for anybody that is wondering why the 49ers pay so much for a fullback, what does he do? That's what he does. And the reason that you don't see more of it is because there's more mouths to feed.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's called upon, again, when it's your time and you're prepared and you're called upon and you don't have to worry about getting ready because you stayed ready. That's what you get, Kyle Juszczyk, man. That you took the words right out of my mouth, Steph. That's exactly where I was going with this one.
And most of what he does, like on a week-to-week basis, is a very thankless job, right? And it's one of those things that often just goes unnoticed. But he's doing things even when he doesn't have any stats in a game, really, right? So yeah, I mean, he was definitely one of those guys on Sunday that the unsung heroes that stepped up when they needed to. And when Kittle got hurt, he did that. And I expect we're going to see him featured a little bit more in however long the 49ers are in this.
They're going to have to, because if everything's covered up top.
He's dependable, though. He's
right.
dependable.
If everything's covered up top, you're going to need your outlet underneath, and no one's going to look at 44. Right. I especially expect this week. I don't know if you guys remember 2019, the game against Seattle, and the Dre Greenlaw stop. The 49ers run this route with Kyle Juszczyk called Stalk Rail, where he starts, and he moves down the sideline, and Jimmy hits him, and it's a huge gain. They tried to do it over and over again, and unfortunately Jimmy doesn't hit him, and Kyle Shanahan's throwing his hands in the air. But I absolutely expect that Kyle Juszczyk is going to be used out of the backfield to get the football to, because of how well and how fast Seattle's defense is downfield without we don't know what's going on with Ricky Pearsall right now. And I don't want to speculate because today wasn't even really a practice. It was an imaginary practice. But I fully expect them to call plays that are directed for Kyle Juszczyk to get the ball to Kyle Juszczyk. Mm-hmm. And it may be something where Kyle starts in the backfield and he cuts through the C gap in the offensive line, and he kind of gets lost in the shuffle, and he's got a linebacker chasing him. Like, there's going to be creative ways to get him the football, and I do think that Kyle is going to get Kyle the football stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. Just you're going to see a lot of, I think, McCaffrey and Juice running similar-ish routes, but just underneath to try to get some yardage. And honestly, this is probably the kind of game where you need to just, slowly make your way up the field 3-4 yards at a time if you need to, just to get a drive going, just to get you in those third and short situations. It's going to be that kind of game. I don't think this is where you're going to be looking for 10 plus air yards and trying to get too much down the field. If it's there, sure, we know Brock will probably look to take it, but I think the strategy needs to be, get the ball out quick and into the hands of underneath guys and see what they could do after the catch, see if you could put them in favorable matchups against linebackers. So yeah, I think that will be the difference among a couple other things. Like we mentioned Trent, Eric Hendricks, I think is going to be a hell of a lot better. If I'm not mistaken, week 18 was his first start, right?
Yeah.
So
the first time that he got in the field, yeah, because Batoon and Winters played, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I don't know if we expect Winters to come back, but if Winters is back and then you got Kendricks as well,
you feel better.
You feel a lot better, about this linebagging course.
I don't know, man. Garrett Wallow, Andrew Pasquini called him GW Unit, and I'm like, damn, that's just stick right there. That's a really good nickname, but yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah, I mean, and if Marcus Siegel, who I imagine he's gonna
have to play.
Start,
yeah, Jair's hamstrings hurt
again.
Yeah.
I really hope it's not one of those situations, Jay, where sometimes when you see a guy come in on spot duty and finish a game, they look good, and then when they have to start a game, it looks a little different. That happens sometimes. I'm not saying automatically that's going to happen to Siegel. I just hope that that's not the case. I think the biggest issue with Siegel when he was starting earlier in the season was coverage, and I think he's definitely going to be tested in that area in this game. You got JSN, and then Rashid Shaheed. So, I think we'll see what he has. Hopefully, he learned a lot in the 8 weeks that he didn't play. I think it was like about 8 weeks or something like that.
Well, we have to remember too about Sequel is that they gave him every opportunity to lock down that job early on. So they believe in him.
Yeah.
And credit to him for staying ready. Right? Like, you never know when your number is going to be called. And to have it called in that moment and to be able to play like that, unbelievable, man.
I mean, look at Upton Stout. Look at how Upton Stout has grown from the beginning of the season. Like, everyone
great.
called him a liability to start, but I always saw those glimpses with Stout, and I was like, guys, like, you are gonna end up loving this kid. Like, he's so good. He has figured it out, and he's become one of the better defenders, more consistent defenders in the last few games. So credit to him as well. I think he's gonna. You see the confidence growing too. Like, to undercut that Devontae Smith route and almost get that pick. That was nice. Hopefully he could get something similar going and maybe get a pick on Saturday.
Yeah, and absolutely. And then you think about it, right? Like, again, like, the 49ers won this game without getting a turnover. And they had 2 turnovers. But I think we're burying the lead a little bit here too. No matter what you throw at Brock Purdy, no matter what you throw at him and whatever is there, and he has a chance at the end of the game, something feels different. And he was so good on that final drive. And as you see the tweet on the screen, after yesterday, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy is now tied for 6th all-time with the most game-winning drives in the playoffs with 4. The only active player with more is Patrick Mahomes. Watching him be able to maneuver and get down the field with that last time, right? Even after throwing those interceptions, knowing how hard it's been against Philadelphia. By the way, you want to talk about why people love Kyle Shanahan, why he's so respected, why his play calling. To be able to call that Texas route for Christian McCaffrey as the last stop in the progression from the other side of the field. Brock feels the pressure, looks 1-2, knows exactly where he has to go with the football, and it's right there. Vic Fangio, give the meatballs. Give the meatballs to Kyle Shanahan, right? You want to give the meatballs to your defensive players, give the meatballs to Kyle Shanahan. Because I don't want to hear that shit anymore about Kyle Shanahan against Vic Fangio. We've already dispelled that narrative. He's only scored 10 points against Vic Fangio. John Beck, RG3, Jimmy Garoppolo, who won that game in Chicago, by the way, and Nick Mullins were the 4 quarterbacks that faced Vic Fangio. So this idea that Vic Fangio owns Kyle Shanahan, stop it. Vic Fangio, get the meatballs ready. You got a lot of offseason to cook. Get the meatballs ready. Give them to Brock Purdy. Give them to Christian McCaffrey. Give them to Kyle Shanahan. Don't give them to Kevin Patullo. Matter of fact, give it to him because he might need a meal since he's unemployed. But Vic Fangio, I don't want to hear this shit anymore. I don't want to hear it anymore about, the big bad Vic Fangio. Don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it anymore. How on earth can you allow your defense to lose this game without George Kittle, without Ricky Pearsall, knowing that there's nobody that can really... Demarcus Robinson goes nuts on you. But we're supposed to be scared of Vic Fangio. Steph, if you think I'm done cooking the Eagles, I'm not done, man. I haven't even put my eyes on Seattle yet. You know why? This win over the Eagles, this is revenge. 2023 was just belt to ass. That was just to let you know, Debo Samuel shows up in black Air Forces, 3 touchdowns on your head top. This is, we're better than you. This is revenge. This is revenge. Shut that entire crowd up. Make sure that you had a short trip home. Make sure that you prayed to that stupid statue of Rocky, who's a fictional character, by the way. Joe Frazier's a real boxer. You could make a statue of him. He's from Philadelphia. Joe Frazier's from Philadelphia, a real boxer. Sylvester Stallone is an actor. Rocky Balboa is not real. You think I'm done cooking the Eagles? You think I'm done? You think I'm done with the people that... And unfortunately, you think I'm done with the 49ers fans who quit on this team before this game started? I saw you. I saw all of you. Oh, no. They're never going to be able to beat this team. Saquon Barkley's going to run for 200 yards. Oh, no. I saw you. You don't get to celebrate with us because you quit. And you ignored data. You ignored how hard this team fights. You think I'm done? I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I got way more in the clip. I know we got to get out of here soon. But this is one of the most satisfying wins, if not the most satisfying playoff win besides the NFC Championship win over the Detroit Lions. I saw you 49er fans who quit. There's no shot the 49ers can beat this Eagles team. There's no shot. Saquon's going to run for 200 yards. Oh my God, this run defense. When have they ever done that? They never did that. But you wanted them to do that this week. But now you want to celebrate now with us. You don't get to celebrate with us. You don't. And I know who you are. I'm going to let you live. I'm not going to put you out there on Twitter, but you know who you are. You know who you are. You can look yourself in the mirror. One of those people that said, my team is going to lose this weekend. Can't believe it. Couldn't be me. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Brisk by Life on Twitch says, I'm going to need Jason's take on Oregon, Indiana so he can take down all the birds. Hoosiers, national champs. I'm having a blast this weekend. My Hoosiers are going to be national champs. You got to eat that one. And oh my God, Michael Irvin. You want to see belt to ass? You'll see it. Belt to ass isn't when you win by 3 points. That's not belt to ass. Belt to ass is coming. The Hoosiers gave it to Alabama, and they gave it to Oregon. That's belt to ass. Wait till we see what we're going to do to you Miami Hurricanes on Monday. Oh, baby, don't get me started. But it's been a really good weekend. It's been a real good weekend. And I just want to make sure that we hold those 49ers fans accountable. Because it's not right. It's not right. You still have to play the game. And if you felt that way last week, then feel that way this week. Don't all of a sudden turn around and say, hey, we're going to beat the Seahawks this week. Stop it. It's done. And we saw you. I'm ashamed. And don't lump me in with you. If you're scared, go to church. I told you over and over about that.
Cug. I got nothing else to say. I mean, how do you top that? You simply do not.
It's all about the U. Terradome. I'm sorry, bro. We're all Niners fans, but my God, are you guys going to get wiped out? Indiana is the closest thing to an NFL team. Miami is getting by. Indiana's not getting by. They're beating the dog shit out of people. like, do you understand what's going on? Y'all are cooked. I understand. Root for your team. Go ahead. Like, I look, the same thing I said about the 49ers applies to this. Stay with your team. But you know deep down what's about to happen. But yeah, don't come back now, 49ers fans that were, they have no shot against the Eagles. I saw it all over social media. I saw it. Saw it all over in my YouTube comments. Not a chance. But if you felt that way last week against the Eagles, then feel that way this week against Seattle. And don't jump back over here. Do not jump back over here. That's it.
I think that's a
Steph, I'm sorry. Steph, I'm sorry.
No, I'm like, I think that's a great way to end the show, honestly. And I hope Rob uses, one of your rants today is the cut up.
I feel like I was chilling today. Oh my God,
chilling.
Listen, Steph, I know you got stuff to do after this. My instant reaction.
Oh man.
I yelled so loud I blew out my mic.
Is that seriously. Why you got a new setup today?
Well, I got a new setup because I was tired of everybody telling me about my old setup. So I was just like, all right, we're gonna fix it.
I like this though.
It looks far better. I bought a new desk. I got my second screen right here. Okay, once I'm done. So once I'm done with this is when I'm gonna shift my focus to Seattle. We're gonna get in there and we're gonna get into the film and all that stuff. But that instant reaction, the first 2 minutes. Oh my God, man. I let everybody have it, man. It was so good. But either way, I feel like I was chilling in this one. I held it all back. I know you guys were looking
That's
forward to me.
crazy.
Like, I feel like you guys were looking, towards, me yelling. But I told you so. You know what I love doing more than anything? I love doing more. I love doing stuff for my family, and the only thing I like doing more than that is saying I told you so. It's my favorite thing in the world. When I told you that the 49ers were going to beat the Rams, I love saying I told
Yeah.
you so. When I told you that the Eagles offense is a high school offense that's engineered by a part-time DoorDasher, I told you so. And
So,
that's
Jay.
just, look, yeah.
Jay,
Seattle?
tell us that the Niners are going to beat Seattle.
I haven't dug into it yet. I am far.
Hey.
Look,
You're telling me to focus, man.
listen, I'm locked in. Once we're done here, I'm going to turn on my second
right.
screen. We're going to get to the film. We're going to look at it all. I think a lot of it has to do with who's going to be in for this game. That's another thing that we have to make sure that we look at, right? I think in my opinion, before this Eagles game, I didn't expect Trent Williams or Ricky Pearsall for that game. I didn't expect either of them.
Yeah.
And I still had that thought process. Here, Ricky Pearsall has to play in this game for this to start to really feel like things are going in the right direction, because you do need if you don't have a man beater against this defense, things are going to get scary. And that's where I think my reservation is. I'm going to end up picking the 49ers one way or another, because I'm going to find a way to talk myself into it. And I'm going to find ways schematically that they're going to be able to get it done. And I hope that Kyle understands what he has to do without Ricky Pearsall and install a game plan in which he's able to keep them on the field and keep them going. But if Ricky Pearsall plays, things get really, really different in this game, and you start to feel way better about it. And I bet you, if Ricky Pearsall plays, you'll see that line come down. You'll see it go from what it is and drop. And I think that's what I'm waiting for. That's the last shoe to drop. The fact that even though today's practice is not a real practice and he would have been limited, that makes me feel a little bit better. Just a little bit better.
We got to see it.
Yep. All right. I think everybody's heard me rant enough. That'll do it for this episode of Bully Ball on the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Shout out to everybody who joined. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on replay, hit that hype button. That helps push this up in the algorithm. That's something that's very new. Make sure that you follow Steph on Twitter at Steph49K. Follow me on Twitter at Jason Aponte 2103. Make sure that you're subscribed to the Gold Standard Podcast Network wherever you get your audio podcasts. Steph, we get to do this one more week. I suspect that we will be back talking about an NFC championship.
He suspects, y'all. He suspects.
Listen.
Let's go.
Listen.
Let's go.
There's only two ways 49ers seasons go. Either they don't make the playoffs or they make the NFC championship game. Something's got to give, and it's all precedent. For Steph, for Jay, we're out of here.
Peace.